All right. Good morning. We'll do it here.
Good morning, Charles.
Good morning. How is everyone?
Doing so well. We're so happy to be invited to be on the CREA podcast this morning. Thank you.
Glad to have you. So briefly, I'll have to say a disclaimer, as I always do, which is that anything that is said here by me is a reflection of me and no other entity. So we have to do that. So I'm joined here for Earthday 365 with Dr. Jessica Walton and Angie
Watson.
Weber. What did I say wrong?
Oh, it's Watson. No problem.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Bad handwriting. So let's start. Jessica, what is Earthday 365?
Well, Earthday 365 is an environmental nonprofit here in St. Louis that was founded to run the St. Louis Earthday Festival in Forest Park, but expanded to have year-round environmental programming. So our mission is really to galvanize the sustainability movement across the region and to strengthen that and make it more inclusive and equitable.
How long has it been in existence?
It has been in existence as a nonprofit for almost 20 years, but we've been running the Earthday Festival for more than 30 years.
Yeah, the Earthday Festival is like a big deal and been celebrated for decades. And so some entity had to come along and assist with organization and preparation and fundraising, et cetera. So that's how sort of St. Louis Earthday came into existence.
Absolutely. I think that the festival grew to be so big that eventually, once it was tens of thousands of people, it was a year-round operation to run the festival and to get sponsorship and to get all the booths. So that was when they decided to incorporate as a nonprofit.
And how long have you been director?
I've only been director for a little over a year now.
Okay. So I'll make my shameless plug that I'm on the board. So
and we're so happy for that.
I'll make sure people know that. And I got to change my picture out because I've shaved my mustache. So so I'll send you a new picture today.
Okay, sounds good.
So Angie, how long have you been with Earthday and what do you do?
I've been with St. Louis Earthday, now known as Earthday 365, since 2017. I also serve on the board of directors and am the current president of our young professionals group, the Young Friends of Earthday 365. And my day job involves urban conservation efforts with a variety of partners in St. Louis. So I'm pleased to be a part of this organization.
And when you talk about young friends, whom are you referring to?
We are referring to young professionals in the St. Louis region. Anyone that cares about the environment, sustainability, their community. We're really trying to cultivate our next generation of environmental leaders, spreading awareness, stewardship, financial support of the organization, and just anyone that wants to network and get outside and kind of get back to their community.
So, Jessica, just to make sure people are clear, Earthday 365 is really regional. It is not specifically or strictly a St. Louis City function or entity, right?
Not at all. We're definitely regional, and we reach down into Jefferson County, up into North County, even out to St. Charles. So we're definitely regional. We have vendors that come to the festival from even rural areas outside.
So let's talk a little bit about you, because you took this position on. Why'd you decide to take this challenge on?
Well, I've been working in nonprofits for my whole career, so that's where my heart is. But I haven't been able to do as much in the environmental arena as I had been wanting to, because that's really where my heart is, and that's what I studied. That's what I did my PhD in, urban environmental nonprofits, and so I was so excited to have this opportunity to be able to really jump in with both feet into the movement here in St. Louis and get my voice there for where I think it should go. And I'm also really motivated by growing up here and seeing the disparities environmentally between neighborhoods and parts of the region, and really wanting to do something about that.
When you talk about some of the challenges around Earthday 365 and the environment, what sort of things do you see as some of the challenges that our city, our region, the environmental movement face over the next 10 years or so?
Well, I think that climate change is really a number one issue for everyone, and so it's an issue for us as well. And we see it here in flooding. And we see it in how it's changing what we can grow in our gardens. We see it in ways that it's impacting communities of color. It's definitely there's larger weather issues. There's larger heat island issues where areas that don't have as many trees or access to parks, experience the climate change more acutely. So those are some of the things that I think that climate change worries that we have.
Angie, when people come to you expressing a desire, young friends or young people, when people have a desire to affect change, no, because that was getting ready to be an answer. So when people come to you expressing an interest in Earthday 365, are they having concerns? Are they looking for a movement? Why do they seek you out and decide that maybe I want to be a member or participate?
I think it could be all of the above, actually. I think people are motivated for different reasons, and they want to be involved, in different ways. And that's what I think is amazing about the organization, about our young professionals group, is we have flexibility based on the skills and the interests of the people that want to join our group. We want to be out in the community. We want to support green businesses. We want to empower, members of the community, and we really want to give back. And so that's where I think we really want to support the organization also through their environmental justice days of action and working with different community groups and partners to try to have a presence and diverse communities all throughout St. Louis, and have that impact and provide the resources that diverse communities need.
Is it when we talk about membership? Are there meetings? Are there activities that are aside from the regular Earthday 365? Does the young friends, do they gin up or set up their own activities and programs, or are they almost strictly aligned to Earthday 365 activities?
We have, I guess, a combination of the two. There are events that we plan that's initiated by our young professionals group, and there are also events that we support the organization with. And our membership is free, so anyone can attend an event that we sponsor.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I need you to say that again. How much is membership?
Membership to participate in the young professionals group is free.
Okay.
$0. Which is awesome, and we're very inclusive. And we do have a leadership team that is our Young Friends Board of Directors. And if anyone wants to be a part of that group and help us plan fun activities and events in our communities throughout the region, they are welcome to join that team as well.
So Jessica, let's talk a little bit about the guts of Earthday 365. I'll say you, meaning we, have a number of programs underneath Earthday 365. So let's go through some of those. Let's talk about recycling on the go, which I think actually is kind of my favorite.
Well, Recycling on the Go is a great program. It's been around for over 10 years. Unfortunately, it's a little bit on hold right now, still due to the pandemic. And so we have had to really come up with some new pilot programs and new directions to build on the skills of the staff and the specialties that we're known for from Recycling on the Go. So, traditionally, we offered recycling services to large scale events and composting services to things like concerts, festivals, marathons, things like that. It's really made a big impact on the event industry as a whole within St. Louis, moving them towards sustainability and making them actually think about it when they are planning an event like this. And so because those events aren't happening right now, instead, they are the ones who are supporting our new volunteer opportunities that we're doing on a monthly basis, at least, or more than that, in partnership with communities of color and with community organizations. And so they're taking the lead on environmental justice days of action. We also have a really interesting new program that's rolling out at farmers markets just this weekend. We're doing food scrap drop-off because we have a new focus on trying to reduce food waste in the region. It's a bigger environmental issue than I think a lot of people realize. And so we're offering residential food scrap drop-off at the Tower Grove Farmers Market starting this Saturday, and then in May we'll be starting at Ferguson Farmers Market. And those will continue throughout the farmers market season. And then we have one more new. Go ahead.
When you talk about food scrap drop-off, that's a lot of conversation. So what are you talking about relative to food scrap drop-off, and how do people have to, how can people participate, and how should they participate? Meaning, how do they package the stuff to get it to you?
Yeah, so you can use any sort of bucket in your kitchen. It's good to have one that has a lid so that you can bring it easily. And we'll be there every Saturday. So people can put in any sort of food leftovers that might be from when they're cooking, the peels, things that might be left on a plate. Hopefully you're eating it all, but we understand there are leftovers that go bad. And so those can go in. We'll take anything that is actually food. We are not going to be taking the compostable containers that are that come from takeout restaurants or things like that. But we will take any sort of food.
So when you say, so any food scraps,
Mm-hmm.
that you couldn't eat your dinner, all of it, or you got leftovers, you're cleaning out your refrigerator, you do that once a month thing, all of that can be, I'll use the term, packaged up and delivered to you all, and then you all, I would guess, then get it to some place for composting.
Right. We're working with St. Louis Composting. They're a commercial composting company, and so they are sponsoring it, and so it'll all go there and be composted and not go in the landfill, crucially, where it produces methane, which is a really potent greenhouse gas. So we're trying to keep that out of the waste stream.
Thank you for clarifying that. So
yeah,
you had something else?
There's one more Recycling on the Go program that's a new pilot program that we're working on right now. It's not rolling out yet, but we're working to get a reusable container program with some of our GDA restaurants, some of our Green Dining Alliance restaurants, so that when you order takeout, I mean, everyone is so concerned about all of this waste that is generated by all the takeout that everybody is doing these days. And so this is a solution there to do reusable takeout containers. So we are hoping to roll that out later this year.
So how will that work? I know we're working out the bugs. That's probably not a bad, probably shouldn't use the word bug when we're talking about food. But right. So you're given a container, or you can bring a container, reusable container back.
You are given a container. You kind of order it with your meal. When you order it online, you indicate, yes, I want a reusable takeout container, and then the restaurant will provide it in that container, and then you need to bring it back either to that restaurant or to we'll have these return stations that are outside that look like kind of like big mailboxes that you can return them to.
And then they will go ahead and wash them and sanitize them.
Yeah, we have a program where we're actually working with a job apprenticeship program and entrepreneurship program with Ujima, with Nick Speed, and they're going to wrap it into the kind of distribution piece and cleaning of the containers, and then return to the restaurants. They're going to be managing a lot of that piece.
Now, this is actually done in other places, I think, in the country. Is that correct?
There's quite a few programs around. Mm-hmm.
So for the folks who are now freaking out over this prospect, this has actually been done in other places. So it's
absolutely, we have successful models.
There's a trial and error here that's already been taking place.
From for sure. And St. Louis City Public Health Department is all on board. They are very excited about it. So yeah, don't worry about that aspect.
Good. Angie, I want to go back to the recycle on the go piece. That sounds like something that the Young Friends could really assist in, not necessarily volunteering, but making sure that when there's a fair or when there's a festival that they're either sponsoring or participating in, that they at least ask the question, where's recycling on the go? Or if they're in the planning part of it, hey, we need to make sure that you all hook up with recycling on the go so that we reduce some of the waste that we're obviously going to have related to this fair festival. Would that be fair?
That is a fair assumption. And actually, pre-COVID, the Young Friends were supporting some of those events throughout the region. We would sign up as a group and we would man the recycling and the compost stations. And we would have conversations with people at those events about who we were and what we're doing and why recycling and composting is important, and spreading awareness of our group. It was just a great way for us to be out and interacting with our supporters in the community. Things are a little bit different now since we're unable to do that, but we do still support the program. We talk about it with the work that we do. We try to encourage our employers to support the program at the events that they're doing. And so the way that we're supporting that program and others is kind of changing and evolving. And I think one of the main things that you mentioned that the Young Friends can do is be ambassadors of our programs in the community and talk about the value and their connections to each of us and the sustainability movement in St. Louis.
So you did the GDA abbreviation, and then you explained Green Dining Alliance. What is the Green Dining Alliance, Jessica?
Yeah, so this is a program that has been around for about 10 years now. We have 115 restaurants that are now part of our Green Dining Alliance, and all of those restaurants have gone through a very stringent audit that has over 700 points that they're looking at in terms of their sustainability as a restaurant. And so that's everything from where are they sourcing their food, are they recycling, are they composting, to even what light bulbs are in the kitchen, what cleaning products are you using. And so it's really a very holistic picture of sustainability. And again, it's pushing the restaurant industry in St. Louis in a much more sustainable direction. So those restaurants, they have a decal in their window. They're listed on our website. On Soft Magazine, if you search for restaurants, they'll have a little circle next to their name for Green Dining Alliance. So yeah, we really encourage folks to support these restaurants, especially right now when it's so hard for the restaurant industry. And you can know that you're never going to get styrofoam in that takeout when you go to one of the GDA restaurants. They've all committed to no styrofoam.
Now, again, this is regional because I believe Maplewood has stores, restaurants, and I want to say the Loop has them as well. Is that correct?
Yes, we have 3 green dining districts in the region. Maplewood was our first green dining district. In fact, it was the first green dining district in the nation. They still love that designation. It's a place where there's a concentration of green dining restaurants within their shopping districts. And it's South Grand, the Loop, and Maplewood. But we are regional with the GDA, and we even have one that's over in Alton. And Principia College has become part of the GDA. So yeah, we're regional.
How does one, I'm trying to make this into a question. Do people call up and say, I want to be affiliated with Green Dining Alliance, or is it we go knock on doors and recruit?
I think it's a mix. We are really wanting to increase the percentage of Black-owned businesses, refugee-owned businesses, or immigrant-owned businesses, and women-owned businesses within our GDA. So we do recruit to a certain extent for businesses that we think would be likely interested in sustainability because of some other aspect. Maybe they have a focus on local foods already. Really, it's very word of mouth at this point. There's a lot of restaurants that just come to us because they have that drive towards becoming more sustainable as a business.
And you mentioned 700 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
It's really intensive.
So if I get to 480 and the first swipe, do I get a blue star versus a gold star, or do I just keep chipping at it until I get to the 700?
There's levels of sustainability certification within the GDA. So there's stars. So they're working to get up to the 5-star level, and we do have quite a few that do make it to that level. But the other ones we're trying to make sure that they make some improvements every single year. That's part of the program.
What would be, just off the top of your head, some of the biggest barriers to getting to those 700 points?
Well, I think the cost of packaging can be a barrier because styrofoam is cheaper, and so that is a barrier. But if you've made that commitment as an organization, I think that can be an easy one to get over, because we really hold the restaurant's hand and we offer the products that are alternatives. And so we're helping with a lot of the research as well and recommendations. And then, only some of our restaurants are really able to compost, and that's a really big impact. But I think that it can be hard for restaurants to manage that. And so we're hoping to find ways to encourage that, or even maybe subsidize that in the future.
Angie, is there I would argue that most of the folks, and I'm being prejudicial, so if I'm wrong, forgive me. I would argue that most of the folks who are young friends probably spend more time out in restaurants than in-house cooking. And if that's true, can they be a stronger ambassador for Green Dining Alliance, especially if they go to a certain place on a regular basis?
Yes, for sure. And that was something also pre-COVID, when our Young Professional Board would meet every month. We were supporting a different Green Dining Alliance restaurant. That's where we held our meetings. And we would experience the restaurant. We would then talk to our friends about, what the food, what the drinks, what the experience was like. We want to know more about the restaurants and how we can help new restaurants join the program. I think it's great for anyone that wants to be a part of our group. If they, want to frequent those restaurants, post about it on social media, spread awareness for the restaurants and their experiences. And I know for me personally, whenever we choose to go out to eat, that's one of the first things we look at is, ooh, what Green Dining Alliance restaurant can we go and you know, just sponsor and support. And so that's a big value of our young professional group, is supporting that program.
And I would also suggest to you that they experience different restaurants than the norm, and I'll say it that way. And so you're going to places that may never have heard of Earthday 365 and whatever, and so there's more of an ability to sort of of well, hey, me and my friends will spend X amount of dollars here every month, every quarter, every year, whatever it is. We'd really like to see you be a part of the Green Dining Alliance. And that may have some impact because they want young people to stay, because young people have more money than us old folks.
I agree. Young professionals, I think, are foodies. Also, a lot of their social, I think, environment is around like neighborhood, local, fun, new restaurants. And so that's where I think if they develop relationships with the owners or relationships with the servers, you know, that's the opportunity then to talk about the amazing program, the Green Dining Alliance that Earthday 365 sponsors. And then once they have connections developed, that could be passed along to the organization for us to then follow up a conversation and try to fold them into the program.
I also want to mention one of the major projects of our young friends over the last year is this really beautiful online cookbook that they developed that is vegetarian. It features GDA chefs and their restaurants, and it features recipes from some of the young friends as well as staff and board members of Earthday 365, and it's so well done. I mean, they really just did a fantastic job. It's got photos. And so that's available on our website and in our Earthday 365 store. And it's fun. The proceeds that come from it help to fund our GDA Relief Fund, which is a fund that helps subsidize the fees that restaurants pay to renew every year when they continue with the program. So we know that restaurants are really hard hit right now, but they're still committed to being sustainable. And so this is a way to help them stay in the program and make it a little more affordable for them.
You know, it just dawned on me when you were talking that as restaurants begin to come back on board, might actually be a better opportunity to at least get them interested in the Green Dining Alliance, because they're having to buy everything all over again. And so maybe that's something to consider, is if you're going to make changes anyway, because you're not going to get to 100% of full occupancy. You may get to 25, you may get to 30. I don't even know what the number is now in the city and the county. But while you're beginning to ramp up for an eventual, maybe in the fall, return to normalcy, whatever that means, may be a golden opportunity to reach out to some of them and say, hey, while you're considering making changes, why not consider this change?
I think that's a great suggestion. And I'll talk to Victoria Donaldson, our GDA manager, about that.
Yeah, especially if they're buying, if they have to buy all the non-sustainable product, meaning styrofoam and all those kinds of things, why not go ahead and convert over to paper or whatever the whatever the containers are to for takeout, because that seems to be a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, recyclable containers I think are best for takeout right now. And we encourage that. And it's also like a little bit of a mental shift. We're also encouraging restaurants to just not include silverware, plastic silverware or napkins unless asked. It's a small thing, but it can save restaurants tons of money, and it reduces a lot of waste.
Because I know I've been guilty of a lot of takeout lately, but they always put 2 or 3, I guess they guess, I don't know, by the quantity of food that you order. I'm telling on myself. But you know, there's 2 or 3 of them, and what do I do with them? You know, there's no place for me to go take them and recycle them, so I
They're not
have to throw them in the
recyclable.
trash. Yeah. So, okay. I want to talk a little bit about the Earth Day Festival, which I know had to be changed last year.
And
In
this
the
year.
past, it was huge. It was a 2-day event, if I remember correctly.
It has been a 2-day event over the last few years.
Okay. So you had to make, well, a ginormous shift was made. Talk a little bit about, you went to virtual and how that played out and what you're expecting to see this year and when the festival is actually.
Sure. So the festival, you know, was happening right after the pandemic started last year, and so we had to make that tough decision to move the festival virtual last year. And what we did was we had a spread over a 9-day period, and we had over 80 live streamed events over those 9 days. And it was a huge learning curve for us as well as for the entire environmental movement. You know, we heard that from so many folks who were just teaching each other, helping each other. It ended up great. I think that there is amazing content that's still up there that is really representative of a wide swath of the environmental movement. And then we all went into a year of Zoom meetings. And so this year we really wanted to do things a little bit differently. We thought that people wanted to be more hands-on and to get outdoors if they could, and to really take action as opposed to staying indoors and looking at their screen again. And so we still have a few virtual programs that are happening during Earth Month, and we're really excited about them. Our keynote speaker is Marianne Lazarus, who is a nationally recognized architect in resilience planning for climate change in buildings. And so she's going to be doing a talk on Friday, the 23rd at 3 p.m. That's going to be on resilience and the power of community. So she's going to talk about examples of resilience here in the St. Louis region. And then we are screening a movie on Tuesday, the 20th. That's a partnership with the Global Freshwaters Summit. And that is a documentary by Mark Ruffalo that's called The Invisible Hand. That's at 6 p.m. And then we're doing a panel at 9 a.m. on Earth Day itself on the 22nd. And that is focused on food waste and food justice. But then throughout the month, we have you can get these Earth Day celebration kits. So instead of everybody being able to come together and have tens of thousands of people in Forest Park, everybody can celebrate in their own home with upcycled crafts, projects for the family. There's several really fun scavenger hunts. There's like a bike treasure hunt that TrailNet put together. And then they call it a treasure hunt from Forest Relief, which is highlighting some of the best trees in Forest Park. And there's really fun design a habitat stuff for kids, as well as a lot of like sustainable gifts. So there's metal straws, and there's the opportunity to win memberships to Missouri Botanical Gardens, lots of stuff like that. And then there's these 3 environmental justice days of action where you can actually get your hands dirty, go learn about an environmental justice issue that's affecting communities here in our region, and you can help to do something about it.
Angie, what's the, I don't think we talked about the age range of the people in Young Friends. What do we shoot for in terms of ages?
Our target audience is young professionals in their 20s, 30s, early 40s. It's kind of a general estimate as far as the term young is concerned. We're all young at heart, right?
No, but thanks. And the reason I ask is because I've talked to a number of environmental groups, and I've also talked to folks who are in the gardening, farming field. Um, and I will say this is, I want to find out how we can get younger. Um, I know there's a young friends group for almost everybody, whether it's the History Museum, the Art Museum, the Science Center, and those are young professionals. But I also know that that's too late. Um, my oldest daughter was amazed once when her and people from her school went to a farm, and young girl couldn't figure out where the pickle tree was, and I cringed. Is there a possibility, and I'm not just talking about Earthday 365, but in the environmental movement, there seems to be that element and this is for both of you all, that element that's missing from getting your hands dirty in the dirt as a child to mentally growing up to be an environmentalist.
I will say from my experience with the urban conservation work that I do, a lot of that involves outreach and education with school districts, and trying to help them create outdoor play spaces that complements curriculum. And they are looking more towards creating outdoor gardens, pollinator gardens, creating woodlands or prairies on their school campuses, and having that nature connection be inherent into the learning of their students. And so that's part of, the type of projects that the Young Friends and Earthday 365 can support, is partnerships with other community groups. Maybe it's schools or nonprofits or churches, and what type of resources are they putting back into the community with community gardens or pollinator gardens or beautification type projects. I think it's all a related thing. And anytime you have experiences to involve children at the earliest age, and if their families can be involved, I think that's extremely impactful.
Yeah, I think that the environmental justice days of action that we've done have included kids either in an organized way, like in Dutchtown South. We had a partnership with St. Mary's. They brought in the St. Mary's football team, and they went up and down the alleys, and they were tremendously effective. So I think that's a way to build more of an environmental consciousness. And then when we were working in Pine Lawn, I was picking up trash next to a young woman who's I think she was in early high school, and we were at the intersection of 70 and Jennings Station Road, and it's an on-ramp where you just see people like throw things out as they get on the highway. And she was really connecting the dots right as we were working together. She said to me afterwards, the next time my friends throw something out of the window, I'm going to say something, because I see what happens. I see this accumulation, and it's terrible. We don't need to do this. So I think that having more opportunities for young people to get involved and to be able to make those connections is really important. And I think that there are some other environmental organizations that have a real focus on this as well. I mean, we're just kind of starting to do some projects with Earthday 365 that can kind of connect into the youth movement here in St. Louis. But I know the Earthways Center does some amazing educational green challenges with schools. And I think they have really had a leadership role in environmental education in the region.
I know I moved on, but I want to go back to make sure that we covered everything that you wanted to talk about related to the Earthday Festival.
Yes, let's see. So we have the Earthday celebration kits, and people can get those either you can look online, but there's days during Earth Week at restaurants where we'll have a booth out and you can come pick up. And part of the reason is because we're having Green Dining Week, and that's something that I did not mention yet that I'm glad we circled back to. So between the 16th to the 25th, We have 15 of our Green Dining Alliance restaurants that are offering special Earth Week deals where they're donating 20% of certain menu items back to Earth Day. And so we really encourage you to go out and support them on those weeks. And you can get your festival t-shirt then, or you can pick up an Earth Day celebration kit. And we're also going to be providing them to all volunteers at the work days on April 10th, April 18th, and April 24th. And then we have certain days when you can pick up at our office as well. So I think that I have mentioned everything that we're doing for Earth Month. We really spread it out for the whole month this year.
Now you mentioned, you might as well go into it. There's several work days, volunteer opportunities, I should call them, that we have. What are those again? And,
sure. So,
and where's the location?
So
they're spread out, aren't they?
They are. On April 10th, we're having a garden day at the North County Agricultural Education Center, which is a project of a Red Circle, and it's in partnership with Custom Foodscaping and Earth Day. And so that will be a really fun day where you can get your hands dirty, plant potatoes, and learn about food apartheid within North County, which is what they're trying to combat. And we're also going to have a trash pickup right at that intersection that I just mentioned, another one that day. And then April 18th, we're really excited about this one. It's the O'Fallon Park cleanup. And I'll let Angie talk about it because she is the coordinator, and the Young Friends are really taking a lead role in that cleanup.
Thanks, Jess. This is a large cleanup event at O'Fallon Park. We'll be working there on the 18th from 9 to 12. We're excited to have partners that include the North Newstead Association, sponsorship from the Missouri Department of Conservation. This is also supporting the Confluence Trash Bash activities that are going to be held April 17th through the 24th. We're hoping to have the Scoops food truck out there to provide volunteers with Italian ice once they're finished volunteering with us. It's a great way for people to, just join in, help the community, beautify that park. It's going to be self-guided, so people are welcome to show up. We're encouraging people to register in advance through the Earthday 365 website, but they can attend anytime between 9 and 12. We have locations already determined within the park where we can, when volunteers check in, we'll hand out the trash bags, the gloves, we'll show them where to go, and we'll pick up the trash afterwards. We'll kind of help them facilitate their experience, and then we'll have kind of a thank you and appreciation following their volunteering with us.
Now Angie, you mentioned gloves, which means to me, people don't have to bring their own tools. They just need to bring their probably long pants and maybe long shirts. But other than that, we're going to provide everything else.
We will provide all the supplies at check-in. That's correct. There are a few wooded areas in the park, open wooded areas. So long pants is a great suggestion, maybe some bug spray. But what's awesome about that park, there's a lot of different types of terrain, and we've already have that designated. These are the easy cleanup locations. These are moderate difficulty. If you're feeling adventurous, this is where you can go. So there's definitely family-friendly type of activities for people of all skill levels and abilities to participate.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would say bring your mask if you can. Oh, I would say bring your mask if you can, but we will have PPE. We'll have disposable masks for folks, and we'll have gloves, bags, trash pickers. We'll be able to facilitate the experience for sure.
And that's from 9 to 12 on the 18th? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll make sure I put that out on my Facebook post and everything else. Are there any other activities in the month of April other than?
I didn't actually get to the last of the Environmental Justice Days of Action. We're doing a partnership with the Dutchtown CID, the Community Improvement District. And so that is on April 24th, and it's also from 9 to 12. And it's the same kind of thing where we will be providing everything that you need. You just need to show up. And please do register in advance, but it should be a fun day, and there will be some food provided as well.
So there's four different Saturdays in April that people can volunteer.
Three. Yeah, 10th, 18th, and 24th.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, and April 16th, I have April 16th. That's the Green Dining Alliance week.
That starts the 10
That
days.
starts the
Yep.
week.
hmm
Okay. So, of the last couple of minutes, um, each of you, um, where do you see Earth Day 365 going? And what I mean by that is we're getting ready to come out of COVID, hopefully soon. But there's still a lot of environmental challenges um, in our city, in our region. Um, what would you like to see Earth Day 365 and the environmental movement in general begin to either hone on in or begin to move forward on for the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I think that one of the really big environmental challenges in our region that affects the day-to-day quality of life for so many of our residents is a variety of environmental justice challenges. And so that's something that Earth Day really has been, Earth Day 365 has been honing in on and learning more about as an organization and building partnerships with communities that are affected by environmental justice issues. And so there's a real, there's groups that have been working on this for years, and I think that there's some real headway and real momentum that has been building in the 2 years or so since it's maybe maybe 3 years since the environmental justice in St. Louis report. There's an environmental justice task force that's really bringing folks together, and then it's expanding now and bringing in new partners, and we're excited to be more involved there. And so they've moved to demands, and they're putting forth ideas about a tenant's bill of rights, which will help with the lead issues, mold issues, absentee landlords that end up with illegal dumping. They're very connected with that environmental justice issue. And then food apartheid is another major one that's kind of in this arena. So this is something that we are excited to focus in on more as an organization, and I think it's an important environmental challenge for the region.
And it takes collaboration from all over the sector to do some of those things you suggest, right?
For sure.
Angie, what about you? What do you see, especially when young friends come talk to you, or when people are interested? Are they interested in the long term, and kind of what does that mean that they would like to see at the end of the day? What do they want to make change in?
I think the younger generations, they want to be a part of the change within their communities, the places where they live, work, and play. And I think that's where it's a good fit for the Environmental Justice Days of Actions program that we're supporting, and our kickoff event for that, for the Young Friends support, is this April 18th event. We're in the process of strategic planning for the Earth Day organization, as you know. And one of the goals that we've identified is for the Young Friends to have a strong presence within that sphere, and those, community-sponsored activities where we can help be a part and spark change with the environmental justice concerns that Jess identified. I know illegal dumping, that's one that kind of ties into all these big cleanup events. And I know some of those activities happen. Construction companies from other places are contributing to that problem. That's a larger conversation, but I think it's all part of the beautification and cleaning up trash from our watersheds and making sure it doesn't get into our rivers and streams. And I think the Young Friends can serve a strong role in those types of efforts and having those conversations and bringing in other partners to then make larger change.
Angie, do you see them? You sort of mentioned this earlier, but the role of the ambassador, I think, because too many times in our region, it's like the city versus everybody else. Um, is part of the role of the ambassadors can be to talk about these issues in a much wider scope. So it's not like, well, the city's doing bad this way and the city's doing bad that way, but there's a lot of other factors that go into what happens environmentally. in our city, in our region. And I would think that the young friends as ambassadors and educators, I'll use that term, educators, can go out in the community and have those quality conversations to talk about the regional issues, not just the city versus everybody else.
Correct. I think it's having our young friends group be aware of any issues and concerns and, the environmental and sustainability issues that are at the forefront for St. Louis, and globally. And then having those conversations where they feel comfortable within their groups of friends, at their places of employment, with their families, talking about what the solutions are. How can, everyone get involved and help? What types of groups are in their immediate communities, talking about organizations like Earthday 365 and our programs. I really think that awareness, that knowledge is very powerful, and being willing to be the person to speak up and start that conversation. I think that can be huge.
So finally, Jessica, one of the things that I've noticed has been involved with Earthday, St. Louis Earthday, now Earthday 365, is the website has been beefed up substantially. I would assume that's on purpose.
Absolutely. So we have a really amazing staff member who started out as a volunteer. She volunteered at our festival every year. And now Kathy Dolson, she manages our website. She's self-taught and she does an amazing job. And so we really have been working on being a better communicator. We realized that especially during the pandemic, I mean, this is our role within the environmental movement. Like, we are able to provide those tips and tricks on how to become more sustainable in your life every day of the year, how to bring the festival into the ethos of the festival into how you're living your life, year round. And so we really know that it's important for us to be able to put things out on social media in a regular way, and to have a website that's easy to navigate and really informative. And so we definitely have been putting effort there. Thank you for noticing, Charles.
Well, I was somewhat stunned by the amount of things that are on the website, because it really means you're making an effort not just to internally educate, but to externally educate. And so Earthday 365 is not just an internal organization of people really trying to be out there in the community, saying, here's what's going on. And so I appreciate that. So we're going to wrap up. So Jessica and Angela and Angie, thank you very much for being here. Why don't we give people the information to be able to get hold of you, and if Young Friends is a little different, give that information, but I know almost everything is on the website. So if you want to give the website, I don't want anybody showing up at the office, so we won't give that address, but certainly the phone number. And then my final question, Jessica, to you is, where's my t-shirt?
Right. So we have these really fun festival t-shirts this year that celebrate 2 years of virtual festival, year of resilience, flexibility, and sweatpants. Thank you for ordering one, Charles. And you pre-ordered, and so they're printing them. They'll be available starting the 15th. And so all of those places that I mentioned where you can get a kit, like the booths that are at the restaurants during Green Dining Week, you can go there and pick up your t-shirt, or at our offices. So that information is on the website. The website is Earthday, one word, -365 numbers.org. And you can get all the information about Earth Month right on our homepage. And our phone number is 314-282-7533. We also are doing a community calendar. So I would check out our the calendar portion on the website. And for anybody who is listening that might have your own environmental events that you want to put on that calendar, please email them to us, because we want that to be a resource for environmental related events for the entire community. And we may also push them out on social media as well.
Good, good. Angie, anything else good for the order?
I just wanted to add, if anyone is interested in learning more about the Young Friends, our events are posted on Facebook. They're posted to the website. I think there's also a way for people to go onto our website and sign up for our newsletter. And all of our activities will be promoted through those avenues.
Thank you both for being here today. That's Jessica Watson, Dr. Jessica Watson, and Angie Weber from the Earthday 365, of which I am a board member. I think we got a meeting coming up this week, but anyway, thank you all for being here. I'm going to post everything that I can on both of or all of my Facebook pages and etc. So that people get to know, because we really want more people involved. We want more activity, and we want a better society. And to do that, we need a better environment. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Charles. Great to
Thank
see
you.
you.
All take care. Have a good rest of the day.
Okay, you too.
Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye.